and also via a scholarship, African Real Estate Society scholarship. So welcome everyone. I'll be here to just share tips just for a few minutes of the time, so if you don't mind, just I'll be so practical, very practical as possible. Some tips that really helped me in terms of study advice. I'm also going to be sharing some resources and some survival skills, or probably some skills that are needed as students. So first thing I'll say is that we need to get ourselves. Can I confirm if we have international students here? We just 4. Okay, that's very good. So because I know we have different peculiarities in terms of finding our feet, and so that's the first point. So I would say that we need to take time to find our feet. That's very important, because finding your feet is something that can affect, can also boost your concentration and how you settle into a program. First, in terms of your accommodation, to be a concern, because you can't really be fully focused, and that's very important. In terms of like this is a family, this church is a family, and it really was helpful to me when I came. Because I just came in last year, it's about a year, the 23rd of September. So it's very important that you get to find your feet quickly in terms of making use to the people you have around you, get good information in terms of a financial status, probably a job, part-time job, something to. Those things can actually be a concern to students, so they can actually affect us. So that's the first thing. And also, get to know your models. Get to take time to go through your models to see how they are going to be assessed. I think now it's being switched from the 10 pattern to the semester pattern. So now I think you have 2 semesters. Yeah, so it's important for you to understand how each module will be assessed. Some of them will be assessed via essays, some will be assessed via written exams, some will be assessed via online exams. So it's very important to take notes to know how you're going to be assessed at the end of the day, which is at the end of the semester. So you approach them differently. So you don't approach the exam, the module that will be assessed via exam as you approach the module that will be assessed via an essay, if you get what I mean. So you just, some of them you have to write a report at the end of the course. So you need to understand how you are going to be assessed. So that's very important. So you tailor your focus to that particular, you are very smart in your approach. Okay, that's that. So getting to know that, I would say get to know yourself. Because everyone here, we have different ways we work. Different times we are efficient, different times we are more focused. Different times of the day that we are more productive. So you just need to understand, because it's more like for postgraduate students who have, it's very fast. I would say the program is very fast, it runs so quickly. And I can't believe it's a year already. About 2 days just finished our school with standards. So it's very fast if you are a postgraduate student. And a year runs so quickly. And so the next thing I would say is, after getting to know yourself, create a plan, a study plan that is peculiar to you. It's up to you. Okay, so it's something that you have to plan based on your how you operate optimally. And also give yourself a challenge. Okay, you reach for something that you know that is a challenge to yourself, like reach for something higher in terms of that, and have the ways you want to measure your progress. So that's that. The next thing is to manage your time effectively. I mean, I can go on and on to say that, because I'm trying to manage my time as well right now. But it's very important, because everything we do, we're trading time for what we want to get. So it's very important to manage your time. First, in terms of the lecture aspect. Next, in terms of your assessments. These are like the 2 major aspects. So you have the lecture aspect, you have to be, either you are attending lecture in person or you are probably watching the videos. Your note taking is very important. When you take your notes, you need to learn. And again, that connects us to how we are going to be assessed. So you don't prepare for a course and you are assessed by essays. The way you approach the course and you are assessed by a written exam. I don't know if that makes sense. So when you take our notes, it's also very important. And I think I struggled from September to December. I struggled with meeting deadlines. I was really almost at the something at the very end of it, and my approach was not helping me at the time because I would always want to read through, and there was emphasis on being critical for us in terms of our studies, and that's very important for us to learn to get going from the like just put your ideas down, get your points. So there's this approach, PEIL. One is your point. You need to know your point, what you want to say, what you are trying to say. And then the E is the evidence. There are evidence from the literature, from the materials. So the P again is the point, your point. Because your voice must, resonate in what you're writing, what you're submitting. Your own voice must also, be saying in what you're writing. And then the E is the evidence, or the evidence is to back what you're saying. Then the I is your interpretation of the evidence. You don't just bring an evidence and just leave it there. So what? There's a question, so what question? So you don't just bring up evidence and leave them like that. You interpret them. And then the last one is L, which is the link. So you have to link up the evidence interpreted to your point again. So that's like, a holistic approach to that. So in terms of assessments, I would say is you have essays and you have reports. I'll talk about referencing, talking about plagiarizing, academic misconduct. You need to be aware that even if you're using AI, we have AI to score. You need to read through. You can't just rely. When it gives you probably an instance, just take it and lift it and drop it like that. You need to read through. It's an assistant. Don't let it be the primary, the one leading you. So you're supposed to be an assistant as you're meant to be. Also, in terms of referencing, you need to understand that some resource you can use. Reference management resource, which is the Mendeley, MENDELEY, Mendeley Reference Manager. It's very helpful. It really helped me. Thank you, Dr. Roses. She was very supportive, and at the time, sharing that resource with me, because it was a life changer, a lifesaver. It saved a lot of time trying to compile references. So if you use this Mendeley, you can have it as an add-in in your Microsoft Word, and you can log in with your university's email. So as you get journals, you download it and you can add it to your reference. You can create collections, right? Create collections, name it to maybe your course, your module, and then you open the add-in in your Microsoft Word, so you can always see them, and you select the reference type, American Psychology Association or Harvard references type. So once you do that, you can insert citations from there, and you can always generate the reference list. So it's very helpful, because that can be the last moment you're trying to submit and you're trying to compile references. It can save you a lot of time. So that's a resource that can help in terms of references. You can go for those tools. So that can save us a lot of time. And next is academic misconduct. Please be very careful of not copying, a whole string of words, lifting them into your work online. It's very good to be able to paraphrase. Interpret it in your own way. Don't just lift it up and drop it like that. And there's also a tool, I don't know if it's available to you, it's the Turnitin practice area. So you can always, when you go and upload your work and see the percentage, and then go back and review it, upload to that platform again, see the percentage before you send it. It's always an issue. Next thing is backup. There's a resource, OneDrive. Don't always save your work. I had an issue with one assignment. Like my laptop I came with was really messing up at the time, and I needed to submit. So it was an issue because I couldn't access the file. It was very slow. So you need to know that you have the resource OneDrive. You can always save everything to OneDrive. You don't have any else. You don't have to always suffer out of the loss of the file. So it's very important. Also, to know that essays and reports just need to go through the how you're going to be assessed. There's always going to be a document given to you by your module convener, how you're going to be assessed. I try not to look at the 60% down. I try to look at 65% upwards. The very last column, I don't want to see other sides. I don't look at the requirements in terms of writing style, in terms of understanding of the concept, everything that has been broken down. Just focus on those points. Ask yourself, am I doing this in this section? Am I doing that? How am I faring in this section? So that will be very helpful for your essays and for your report. As I said, let your voice always come out in what you write in your points. You always have to link it back, even though you dropped your evidence. And in terms of presentations, You need to also put up good slides that will be not full of words, that will be interactive, and probably you are doing presenting in person or via maybe a video. You need to know what you are saying so that you speak to the slide and you don't just read from the slide. So it's very important. And then exams and tests. In terms of exams, we have written exams, we have online exams. My first experience of an online exam, I felt like, wow, 8 hours. It's quite long. 8 hours for an exam, and before I knew it, the time I was really like rushing to finish up, because you might think 8 hours is long, but in an exam you see 8 hours like 8 minutes probably. So online exam is something that tests our understanding, because even if you go to ChatGPT, it won't be helpful. You have to understand it, and that's where note taking is very important. So when you take your notes from those lectures, it will help when you are writing the exam. Actually, you might say that it's an online exam. I can always open my notes. It's an open book test. It's not. You can't really use the time that 8 hours to start looking for those pages. But if you have your notes written down in the way you can, which easily navigate them, it will be easier for you. Yeah, that's said about that. And moving the right people, the right friends, is very important. Like it's like it can make you and it can also marry you. From the first day. You don't have to hang around with the first person you meet. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is my friend, I'm loyal to this my friend. You have to understand that you are responsible and you have to take responsibility for whatever happens. So you need to understand that and do that. So in terms of resources, one I said reference management, which is like I recommended Mendeley. And you need to be aware of the library and IT resources. There's this laptop loan facility for 8 hours. You can access the laptop from the library. Before I got my laptop, I was having issues with laptops, always having issues with laptop, very slow. And I remember my first lecture, I brought the laptop out, everyone was looking at me. Like, if you see laptop, it's heavy, you know what I mean, it's big. It's very big, and when I just put it on my desk, it takes the space there, and it's very slow. So everyone is having a very fast device, but I had to make do what I had. I never knew I could get a laptop on the very flexible laptop that doesn't occupy space and very fast like that for 8 hours. I never knew, until like about January when I got to know. And also you need to know about exceptional circumstances, EC. I think it was very helpful when I got to know it. I had submitted an assignment that I was not happy with. I wasn't happy with my submission. I think that was the 5th of January. So I was not happy, and I just submitted, but I knew it wasn't the best of what I should have done. Again, because I didn't manage my time well at the time. So I have to be real with everyone here. It's like I have my own struggles, so I had to learn to overcome them. So I got to know that there's an option called exceptional circumstances, EC, and you have the option to use twice in the semester now for you. Twice self-certified request. So it's like you don't need to prove anything. You have the right to use it twice for 2 modules. You don't need to prove anything, no evidence, just maybe you had technical issues, whatever, and then you be granted, you give an extension 1 week. Is that not amazing? Makes sense. From where I'm coming from, Nigeria, I don't enjoy such. So when I got that opportunity, I had to go back again, do the work and make another submission. So it's very important to know that option is there, so it's just there, but don't rely on it and say, oh, there's extension, I can always use it, but it's just when there's a dying last minute emergency. Yeah, I talked about Turnitin practice area, talked about OneDrive backup. I think those are the resources. Then in terms of the skills, you just need to have self-discipline. This will be the last point. In terms of the skills, you need self-discipline. You need to be disciplined as a person. Because nobody gives you anything for free. The lecturers don't give you marks. They don't have it in their pocket to give to you. You have to prove that you've written something good and you understand the concept. And then time management, as I said, before the last, critical thinking and writing. You need to be critical. Your PEIL, your points. Can we say that PEIL together? the point, the evidence, interpretation, and the what? Linkage. And then lastly, you need to be resilient because things happen. When they happen, don't let them break you. Learn to do what? Move on and learn from those experiences. Thank you very much for listening and have a great experience.